there were 4 of us, and then I had cousins that were 4, they were siblings, and then I had a cousin who lived down the street. So there were 9 kids who my mom, because she was stay-at-home mom, she would watch during the summer from 7 in the morning to 5 in the evening before my cousins would leave. And most of the time she just shoot us outside. And so part of that was we played school. And whenever I think about it, it brings me joy. It reminds me that I'm not just a teacher, but I've been sent to be a teacher. And so today, that's what we're going to look at for the next 15-ish minutes or so. And so I want you to sit with that for a brief moment. What does that mean to you? That you're not just a teacher, but that you've been sent to be a teacher. I actually got this phrase from my pastor, Pastor Tate, a couple of weeks ago. He was doing his sermon virtually, and his second point, he was like going on and on about something. And then he wanted to point out how we're not like just doing something, that we've been sent to do it. And he specifically said, teachers, you're not just a teacher, you've been sent to be a teacher. And in that moment I went, oh my God, he's talking to me. He's letting me know what my keynote is about to be about, so much that I grabbed a napkin and I just started jotting down some notes. Even when my daughter was looking at me, she was like, what? And I was like, leave me alone. And so like, at that point, I didn't hear the rest of the sermon. I went back later to go listen, but I just started like taking down notes, and I was like, this is it. This is where we need these reminders. And we need these reminders because at this time, we are going through a season of our lives. And I'm going to say this, my season for me started March 13th. Go ahead and put in the chat when your quarantine season started. But we are going through a season of quarantining, pandemic, remote / hybrid / in-person learning. And it has shifted completely, not just how we do it, but it's made us question our teacherness. And I see we've got some similar. I remember that day, March 13, 2020. My husband and I went to our youngest daughter in high school, her career day. And we both presented 3 different sessions. And then at noon, when school was over, they announced as we're leaving, schools are closed. Mind you, in my district, they already had told us the day before. They were like, yeah, they're closed, you know, and the idea was like, oh, it's just going to be a couple of weeks, right? Like not including spring break. And we were all like, okay, we're going to do this. But it's definitely been a season of making us reflect, step back, question. And it's a range of emotions, and they're honest, truthful feelings. So I don't want you to feel a certain kind of way, but I am hoping that I'm going to help with this, because in March 2020, we were loved on, right? We got all the love. People were like, yes, I'm here with my kids. Teachers need to be paid. Give them $1 billion. Even Shonda Rhimes went on, right? She like gave all the love to teachers. Everyone wanted to pour into us. Give it to them, give it to them. They're going, I can't do this at home with my kids. Take them back. And then 2021 came. And where's the love, people? So much that we don't have the love for ourselves anymore. A lot of you are contemplating quitting. Some of you have quit. Some of you are going into early retirement. Some of you are trying to think, what else am I going to do? I have to tell you, when I think about that moment again, but my teacher moment, there's nothing else that I would do. But I've been questioning it. And I know many of you have, right? So much that like we even get the like superhero complex. But the thing is, even the Avengers needed time away. And we're not there. So today I'm hoping that for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to be able to feed that faith of teaching and not the fear. And so here's how we're going to do this. I want you to think about your one student. Okay, I know. I'm asking you to just do one. All right. One student. So Heidi has put a link in the chat for a Padlet. Remember I asked you, you're going to be participating. This is already participate. So go ahead and click on that link. And on that Padlet, I want you to just tell me a 6-word phrase or sentence about that one student, right? It could be the student who, I don't know, has a high school job as Chuck E. Cheese. It could be that student that saved their last graduation ticket for you so that way you could come with their family. It could be that student who, you know, wanted you to stay after school because you were leaving to take on a new job. It could be the one who coded and presented his own game console at a teacher conference after he like talked to you about it. Mind you, he was a student who didn't want to like speak in class, but he loved coding. And so like there were times where I would say, hey, go ahead for your assignment today, code your response to me, code me your learning. It could be the student that it hurts to know that I failed him. And even in this moment, when I think about it, it hurts. But then I get to think about the student who, during quarantine, not too long ago, brought her husband so I could meet him, social distancing, of course, because I couldn't make it to her wedding. And so I see we've got pregnant, scared girl turned bold, fierce. Cares about being kind and trying. Thank you for sharing these. He came back 2 years later to thank me. Always tries hard, learns slowly, love. And so I'm asking you to think about that one student because for our first point, I want you to connect with your wow. And that wow is our students. And notice how I didn't say your student, my student, those students. I said our students because they're all ours. As Dr. Bettina Love said, if you don't know us, you can't love us. And so as a teacher who's been sent to be a teacher, we do this. And so I'm going to ask you, how do you see our students? And when I say see, I'm not asking you to tell me like their physical traits. I'm asking you to like, how do you know what makes that kid spark? How do you know what gets that kid going? And so we do this several ways, don't we? Because we've been sent to be a teacher. So we see each student, we empower them. We let them see themselves in all parts of learning. We give them choices. We join their support group. We listen to them. We give them constant words of accountable encouragement. Have them make decisions and learn from those mistakes. And then we share who you are, meaning who we are, right? We share those things with our students. And so now we're gonna move to the next point. All right, so first was we were connecting with your wow. Now, teachers who've been sent, we build our how. And we do that because we keep evolving. And I am known for saying this, that knowing my audience fuels my drive to do the work. What does that mean? I know my students, right? We see our students. I know what makes them tick. I know that they want to come the next day. And I know that they're coming because they're engaged and they want to learn and they want to connect and they want to know more about me and they want to know more about each other. And so we got to keep evolving. And so for me, you know, during the summer, my family knows, minus last summer, okay, that's a wash, and there was still room for growth. So we don't want to just say or dismiss it, but typically every summer I spend either 1 week or 2 weeks, not consecutively, where I'm going to be away. And they know this. They know that, hey, she's going to be at some teacher institute learning something new so she can bring it back to her kids and go take pictures and do all these things. They talk about it, but they know it's because I know my audience and I need to stay evolving. And so what does that look like? Well, you keep up with the latest research and you read opposing arguments. You're an occasional Saturday teacher. Hey, hello, good morning, right? You take advantage of teacher institutes. People, check out NEH.gov, gilderlimerick.org. You ask our students. You join Twitter chats, Boxer chats. What, they got that new one, house party something, or house club, clubhouse, something like that. Join those chats, just join a chat. Read or listen, I know some of you do the audio, to books that are about that work. Share and use teacher-created, culturally responsive lessons. We are seeing all of our students. We're including them in it. They can see themselves. Do it. And lastly, develop your equity lens. Take those in for a minute. And so now I ask you, how do you keep evolving? Heidi's gonna put another link to a different Padlet. Remember I told you this is the second one. So for the second Padlet, oh, and she's already been doing it. You're on it, Heidi. But go ahead and share how you keep evolving. How are you staying connected? Remember to listen to understand. People love PD, right? I have to tell you in my experience, so this is my 21st year as an educator. I'm gonna say this, but sadly, most of the best PDs I've ever attended have not been when I was at school, right? So we come to Saturday PDs and we seek other PDs. And while that just means, yeah, we've got work to do, at least we know that we have a place to go. And here's the other thing. Sometimes those PDs, I'm gonna say probably half of them, are not necessarily in that room, sitting down in that chair, listening to that speaker. It is in the hallways. It is on Twitter, social media. It's not, sometimes it's in the hallways of your school, but let's be honest. So thank you for sharing these code switching podcasts. I love that, gaining and learning. So thank you for sharing those. And so now we're gonna go ahead and transition to our last point. Our final point of protecting your now. So we're connecting with our students. We're evolving for our students and adding to our tool belt. But now we got to protect that now. And that means you have to nurture your teacher soul. If you ain't healthy, you ain't helping no one else. I don't care how much you try to help your babies, because you have to nurture. And let's be honest. If we are sent to be teachers and we know what sent to be teachers mean and we are evolving, we get caught up in that, right? Like so much that we almost glorify the fact that we are staying busy, we're doing this work, but we are running on fumes and we have no more to give. And we're making ourselves sick, and we're leaving out our families, and we're leaving out our family friends, and we're not nurturing those relationships. And so we need to take time. So Dr. Desiree Alexander, who is an amazing friend, critical thinker of mine, and I love her to death, she said this not long ago, and it actually blew up on social media. She said, you're not open 24 hours a day. Put up boundaries and stop answering emails, calls, and texts after a certain time. Protect your time, your spirit, and your brain power. You can do it. And she's absolutely right. And so how can we nurture our teacher soul? Self-care is not selfish, people. And so we're going to do it a couple of ways. Get you some teacher people, your PLN. And I specifically said teacher people because we need others who understand us. We need others to bounce off ideas. We need others, as my dad used to tell me, they are not your friend if you can't tell them no. All these people, I can tell no, and they can tell me no, and I'm okay with that. And I'm gonna still love them unconditionally, and they are gonna hold me accountable. I'm gonna do the same. We're gonna bounce ideas off each other. We're just gonna talk, even if it's just so I can go and vent, cry, do whatever, celebrate. We're gonna lift each other up. We're gonna do that because they are my critical friends. Get you some. If you don't have one, I'm right here. Call me, text me, Twitter. I'm here. And so then the next one is set up a personal schedule. And the second part of that is stick to it. You gotta stick to it, right? Disconnect from work. Read books that you love. Doesn't always have to be teacher driven. We've got like the anti-racist stuff going on. Doesn't make time for that. And make time for that. I'm loving YA books. Nick Stone, what is it, Angie Williams, or Angie Thomas, sorry. I'm like trying to put them all in there. Acevedo, you've got them. I've got them. You need some books? I got some. Protect your energy. That is like my favorite thing to say. And I'll tell my admin, not today. I'm protecting my energy. I cannot people today. Just not gonna do it. Not gonna get in my energy. Okay, reconnect with your hobbies. Love taking pictures, love going outside, listening to the birds, want to do some gardening, put some puzzles together, play Minecraft, whatever that is. Reconnect with them. Set some professional parameters. Take time to breathe. We need to do that. And sometimes you just have to make that sound at the end so that way you can hear it. Because you are more than a teacher. You are. You've been sent to do it, but you're more than a teacher. You bring the human side of you. You bring it into all the spaces with your students, with your PLN, to this conference. You've got all this, and sometimes we forget about it. We push it aside because, again, we're driven, we're that sent teacher, we gotta do this. But you've got more. So as we draw near to the end of this keynote, I want us to be reminded and to reflect about those other parts of us that we are. So Heidi is putting a link to a Padlet in the chat, and it's for an I am poem. And you can write statements. Again, this is outside of just being a teacher, right? It could be regionally, ethnically, your interests, your hobbies, whatever that is. And just give a minimum of like 3 lines. Hey, if you want to do more, do it. If it helps remind you that, yes, I've got this teacher life and more, and you are, we, just like our students, we choose and pick which ones we're going to bring to these spaces. And sometimes we do it out of fear, the choices that we make. We're not sure if they're going to be accepting, but we want to get to a place of being transparent. I actually do this poem when I was in the classroom when I taught 5th grade. I did this poem with my 5th graders, and I usually did it around January, February, because in this time I've been building and trying to create an environment where my students feel safe to learn and also share about them, to bring these parts of them that we don't see when we look at them. And I have to tell you, it is so beautiful and so warming to read them. And then the other part of that is how eager they are to share. They want to share them with others. They want to share with each other. And so as you are, and I'm seeing them, as you are creating your I am poems on the palette, I'm actually going to read mine. So here we go. So where I'm from. I am from the shared banquito from Ajax and Macruder home to sting the wounds. I am from the home with 3 bedrooms, an additional one built by my grandfather in House 13, strong, busy, roasted coffee beans at 5:30 a.m. I am from white calla lilies, growing tall in my grandma's yard, calling for snipping to lay on my grandfather's gravesite. I'm from singing contest every holiday gathering in large eyes and fair skin from Fernando and Consuelo Lopez and Pastor Harvey and Amajine Sims. I'm from these are my kids and Pop, you better tell them, from do what I say and not what I do, and responsibility is a motherfucker. I'm from the Lord is good and his mercy is everlasting, communing at church on Bible study Wednesday, Sunday school morning, choir practice Saturday, church Sunday service at 11 until 1, and then again from 3 to 6. I'm from Bellflower born, Compton raised, and the blood of Louisiana and Mexico, collard greens and sopa de fideo. From the God-filled preaching grandfather, the mom who had me at 17, walls of photo montages, stacked yellow tinted photo albums, and boxed photo slides occupy our homes. And from these stories, visible to all who visit, while many more lie waiting in our heads. I'm not just a teacher. I've been sent to be a teacher and more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leticia. I think that if we unmuted everybody, you would have a standing ovation. It really resonated with me, and I did get a little teary in places. And I love how, you start with your why, and then how, and then the last very powerful, protect the you, protect yourself. So thank you, Leticia.
Thank you.
And we have a little bit of a break before the sessions, and it does not look like we will reach a capacity in any of the rooms unless all of a sudden we get 300 or 400 people join. And so we can take a break and head out to your next session. I put the schedule in the chat in case you didn't have it open. So thank you, Leticia. John, you want to put on some music?
Yep, we'll do. Have a great day,
Thank
everybody.
you.
See you back in the room for closing. Or if you guys need any help, you can always pop back in the Zoom link and we'll be here to answer any questions.
Would love.